Well, prepare yourself, guys. Chris with T3 Media. It's November 1st, and I'm going to give my little mini review of the movie Bodied, the upcoming movie Bodied. Now, as you may or may not know, if you've been watching the channel, Sean and I have recently done an interview with the director and two stars of this film. That's Joseph Kahn, that's Jackie Long, and Calumn. It was a great time. We met with them. They were great guys. As you know, the director is native Houstonian, so it was great to meet these guys, socialize with them through social media after the fact, and just get to know them on the level of the professionalism of what they brought to the table of this film, and what it meant to them, and exactly what the little subtle things that you will see in this film means to everybody, and what it could mean to everyone who sees it. Now, it's getting a lot of great reviews. I myself enjoyed this film. Sean hasn't had a chance to see it yet, unfortunately, but here's my little take on what I thought about the movie. Overall, for me, it came to me as a bringing to light of how we, like, as some people in the society like to give our opinions and how we react to certain things in other people's cultures, even if we don't necessarily know what we're talking about. There's a lot of that going on a lot of days in politics. For example, there's one character who feels like she's very woke and liberal and PC and progressive, but she comes off as very harsh and demeaning when it comes to this genre in hip-hop. Body is starring Calumn, who is a college student who wants to learn and do a thesis on the phenomenon that is rap battles. He learns about it and then inevitably becomes a rapper, battler himself. Now, on the interview part of it, he mentioned that he had to go to rap school and learn, because he gave a good read, but he rapped for shit. And that was entertaining, to a little fun fact to learn about. Another interesting thing about this movie was seeing that every scene almost felt like a rap battle, a way of learning, a way of attacking, and going at every scenario that's just faced with life like a rap battle, where you go at it head on and take it on. There was parts of the movie where you could see the tensions and the way the mind works when you're freestyling and having to go off the top of the head, or shoot from the hip, so to speak, to get your point across, or to just get through life and just go through the motions. And seeing every little issue, whether it was political, geographical, social, whatever the situation was going on between the characters, whether male or female, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, does not matter. Everything in this movie it felt like a battle, a rap battle, and an attack. This movie attacks you. It comes at you hard with the comedy, with the drama, the intensity, and with the inappropriateness of the profanity or whatever is going to jar you. If you're a person that's easily rattled, this will get you. If you're a person who enjoys such movies like 8 Mile, for example, then you will get a kick out of this movie. But even though it's produced by Eminem, it is far from 8 Mile. Yes, it's dealing with rap battles, but you're going into the mind and the logic of what it takes, to the strength that you need to be able to withstand or stomach the intensity that is a rap battle. And you see these characters go through this throughout life. It's real life, and it's as hard as life can be at you. I mean, it may just be words, but when you're being verbally attacked and an onslaught that's coming at you on a personal level, it can tear you down. There's a lot of things that's going on in our society, especially on social media, where people just cannot handle this constant judgment and barrage of verbal attacks. And that's the entire makeup of a rap battle. The movie is called Bodied because that is the term that's used when a person is completely annihilated in a rap battle. You've been killed. You're nothing but a carcass. Your body is laid to rest. You have been bodied and laid to rest. That's the worst thing that you could hear from the critics around you when you have just been on the receiving end of a rap battle. So I recommend it. It's very hard hitting. It touches on a lot of issues with race, feminism, liberal issues, conservative, what it means to be a white person in America and be considered or looked at as a possible racist in the eyes of other people. I've always said that the worst thing that you can call some people, some black people, is the N-word. The worst thing you can call some white people is a racist. And this movie dives into all of these issues. Is it okay to say the N-word if you're raised or brought up in the community? If one person says it's okay, does that speak for everybody? Does one person speak for everybody on any issue? Feminism, racism, anything, does not matter. Was one person speak for everybody? This movie touches on a lot of these things, and I got a kick out of it. It was very well done. It was a huge surprise for what I thought. I went in not knowing much about it, and I came out loving every bit of it. And I really enjoyed the interview that and the time that we had with the creators of this film. Go check it out. It comes out November 2nd. That's all I'm going to say about it. You want to know more? Go check it out. There's a few spoilers in the podcast that I'm about to release here on the soundbite of the interview. So forgive me for that. If you don't want spoilers, then don't listen. Wait until after you see the movie. But if you want to know about these actors and this director and a little bit more about the movie behind the scenes and the things that we asked them, check it out. Here comes the interview right now. And remember, become a subscriber. Hit that like button. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, guys, peace.
It's criticized a lot for misogyny, homophobia, racism, and some of its surrounds. Was that something directly you wanted to put in this film, like as a direct criticism of hip hop, or what was the meaning behind putting those types of lyrics into the battle?
It's a satire, so we're roasting everything. We're roasting hip hop. We're roasting the people that are making fun of hip hop. We are roasting misogyny. We are roasting anti-misogyny. We are taking everything and turning it upside down and examining everything.
Hey guys, my name is Jesus Paredes from the Millennial TV. Thank you very much for coming to the Houston, Texas. We are so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And Joseph, you are from Houston, Texas. How do you feel to come to your hometown and promote your own movie?
It is always a pleasure to come back home. Where number one, I have a house here, so it's very comfortable for me, and I have family here. And this is where I started. I love meeting Houstonians too. I feel like we are a very different city. We were multiracial before the rest of the country was. Like I remember, like even just going to high school here. My high school was just a multicultural situation. And I feel like we have a lot less anger in Houston than the other places. The other places, they got a lot of stuff to work out. There is a sort of base level of civility that's in Houston that I feel that the rest of the country doesn't necessarily have. It's a special place.
Awesome. I have a question for you guys. I know this movie is kind of difficult because you bring together, different kind of cultures, people. So what was the most difficult part to work into the movie, like a talent in this movie? More because it's a lot of music, a lot of moves, a lot of different kind of people. How you integrate yourself in this?
You can answer first.
Well, the hardest part as the artist was learning how to rap. I had never rapped before, and it was Joseph reminds me sometimes that I was the worst rapper to read for this role. So I basically went to rap school, and I was trained by the greatest battle rappers in the world in the rehearsal process leading up to it. In terms of the multicultural aspect of it, it was wonderful. There was people from every different demographic that participated in this movie on screen and behind the scenes as well. And it was really fun. It was battle rap inherently is very multicultural, and that's what makes it really special. And one of those was really special. And yeah, it was fun. It was a fun aspect of it.
Just like he said, the whole multicultural of it was, of course, fun to be around. And the most interesting part was, like I always tell everybody, was the dialogue. You know, that was the most strongest part of the movie because it's telling the story in the battle raps. You know, you have to really pay deep attention in this movie. It's like they always say when we see the movie, it's a movie that you cannot go to the restroom. You have to really pay attention to it and listen to what's going on, because if you do, you actually miss the littlest thing can mess the whole movie up if you miss it. So that was the whole fun part of doing that.
Just add one thing. In terms of everyone coming from different places coming into this movie, the thing that we all had in common is we're all artists, and we all connected on that level. And it didn't matter like where you're from, what your history was. We all connected as from the art form perspective.
Same question.
Yeah, please.
Well, here's the big thing. It's a multicultural movie, but it's not a kumbaya movie. The world today is very tribal. You know, we have factions of people arguing with each other, and there's a dialogue happening, and the dialogue isn't really a dialogue, it's an argument. You'll see on social media, people are offended by each other. People are having like huge political discussions. People are losing their families over political arguments now. And that's a new thing. Like it wasn't, you know, obviously people have political arguments in the past and they'd lose family, but it's happening so often now that the dialogue has changed in the last 2 or 3 years. And the fortuitous thing about Bodied when we constructed it is that it's about that dialogue. It's one thing, it's like when you all agree. What happens when you disagree about a subject? And the funny thing is, a lot of it has to do with the way that we are offended. Now, Bodied straight up offends people. Like, there's no question about it. Like, these jokes that we say in these movies, somebody's going to be offended at some point in the movie about something. And if you're not a human being. But at the same time, you're also laughing at the other 90. You might be offended by 10% of the jokes, but you're laughing at the other 90% of the jokes. But guess what? Every joke is at the expense of somebody else in this movie. It's a battle rap. They're competing against each other. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, at what point am I being an asshole by laughing at everything? Or at what point am I overreacting that, you know, we can make racist jokes, we can make sexist jokes, we can do these things, and they're acceptable within certain contexts, you know? Like, for instance, if these two guys came up to me and made an Asian joke, I would laugh. I'd go, okay, that's funny. But if one of you guys did it, I'd go, who are you, you know?
And then I gotta fuck you up.
Context is everything. You know, and Bodied is an experiential thing where the audience all agrees, hey, we know we're about to hear a bunch of offensive jokes. No matter who you are, you walk in that theater and go, we're going to accept that for 2 hours. But even at that, I sucker punch you because it goes in places that nobody wants to hear these things. What Adam does by the end of the movie is unacceptable.
Well, Jackie, with this question, since y'all brought that up, there's been a lot of controversy with hip hop pretty much since the late 80s using the N-word, and a lot of fans being non-black. Kendrick Lamar said that he doesn't want his fans using that word. Kanye says he doesn't have a problem with it. But how should rappers handle non-black rap fans or non-black hip hop fans in general in that word? I mean, how should they navigate? I know you have a lot of friends in the business, so what kind of conversations have y'all had about that?
Well, like I say, I grew up in the hood, and I've been hearing that word since I was born. You know, and it's like a part of my voice sometimes, because you don't even mean to say it sometimes. It's just a word that comes out. If you see somebody, instead of saying good morning, sometimes to your homeboy, you be like, what up, my nigga? You know what I'm saying? So that I don't think that being a black person, that word is going to be around forever with us. You know, I think if you a rapper, you choose not to say it, then you choose not to say it. But I don't think you can if you have that much power to let your fans not say a word, then you did your job. But I don't think the word's ever going to leave, and I don't have no problem with the word. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if somebody said, like he says, come up to me and talking about, like you said, you a white boy, or somebody saying nigga to me, then, and I don't know you, yeah, I might have a problem. But I do have white friends that I'm comfortable with that do say nigga to me. You know, Mexican friends that say nigga to me. You know, but at the end of the day, it's a word, you know, and it's so crazy how this world is, that word is so big in this world that it means a lot. Like you'll die over that word and whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can get fired over that word. That word is strong. But in the world that I'm living, you know, today is so much other shit going on for me to be worried about that word still, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been hearing it all my life, and it's never going to change. You know, like if I get on the phone with one of my friends right now, he's like, all right, talk to you later, my nigga. It's nothing I can do about it. He could have said, I'm not gonna say nigga ever again, but it's gonna slip out because it's so natural.
You think hip hop takes too much blame for that? Because I remember hearing my uncle, not of the hip hop generation, they live right next to a housing project,
Right,
for single mothers, and he said, "Got them niggas in there." And he's old school; he's not a hip hop head. So, do you think hip hop has taken too much blame for the popularity of that word? Because I hear old folks who can't stand hip hop.
for sure, hip hop. You know, I will blame hip hop because you got to think. What was the NWA? What did it stand for? Niggas with attitude. You know what I'm saying? They got in a lot of trouble for having that name. You know, so at the end of the day, of course, hip hop, because you hear it all day from females and you hear it from males. You know what I'm saying? So it's hip hop because lately the world is based around music. No matter what, and rap music is big in this world today, no matter who you are. It's like, of course, singing and all that, but rap is always going to be acceptable. And I don't care what year you in, what generation, wherever you gonna hear nigga. And you know, it is what it is. So rap is the blame.
To follow up on that topic with another character played by Miss Uphold, the girlfriend character.
Rory.
Rory. And I want to know if this was done deliberately. Was this a not a jab, or was it to call out like liberals as far as like, 'cause I'm a very liberal person myself, and I have a lot of conservative views too, but I'm mostly liberal. But it seems like her character seemed like she was very like self-righteous on like she wanted kudos and points for being such a great person and having all these great points of views, but she still seemed to have a lot of what I saw as like racial prejudice kind of like feelings towards like the hip hop community and whatnot. Did you were you deliberately trying to like point that out for on the liberal point of view?
Look, well, yeah, absolutely. There's a point of hypocrisy that can end up happening when you're judging things, even for the right reasons, but you don't have the experience to judge these things. Like you'll see a conversation happening in one of my favorite scenes in the movie is this conversation where like all the kids are at the table and they're discussing Black culture. There's not one Black person on the table, you know, and that conversation is happening everywhere, you know, and they're being self-righteous. They're making judgment calls. They think they're being super liberal, but on a weird level, they're on a weird level being also, if not racist, at least stereotypical and definitely uninformed because they haven't experienced the culture. They're just talking about it, you know? And so her character absolutely believes that she is righteous. Her absolutely believes that she's in the right. But her character, when she actually interacts with the culture, doesn't understand it. You know, also that has another thing too. Like the movie has a lot of little battles going on. And I think that, and we wrote the movie in 2015, but we did it as a predictive battle. Like a lot of the battles in there we didn't know exactly what the world would be like when we released it in 2017, 2015, 2018. But one of the things that we kind of predicted was white feminism versus Black rights, which now today is a meme. You know, all those white ladies like calling in Black people for having a barbecue and shit like that, you know, like that's a full on thing happening right now. But we kind of predicted that, right?
It seemed like her character seemed like she wanted a cookie or a trophy for being so awesome and so progressive and whatnot. Where I feel like I wanted to not like her at some points, but then I feel like I was mad at myself. But even when she at the very in some moments made a point where I was like, how is it that you got a person that you totally maybe not like, and then all of a sudden, bam, I can still see her points coming through, and I can still see.
But that's the complicated thing about human beings. We can be right and wrong at the same time. You know, by the time the end of the movie happens, that dude's a villain. You know, Adam's a villain. You know, but at the same time, you still think at the same time he's right about some things. You know, that was a battle; those were the rules.
Was that like a pendulum swing? How like even in a rap battle, you can deliver your best lines, you can be on top, and when he swings back the other way, boom! Like how she had a point at the end, and he became the villain and whatnot. Was that another?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's the thing I think is fun about life, right? Here's the other thing about hip hop, right? Here's the reality. Hip hop. What is hip hop ultimately? It's storytelling, right? And it's a dude telling stories from his perspective at a certain point in time. Kanye, 15 years ago, had a very specific point of view. Who is Kanye today? Totally different, right? Because no, but because now he's like before he was from the street, he was telling those stories. Now 15 years later, he's in Calabasas in a $20 million mansion with the Kardashians. That will affect you. That will affect you. So now he has a very different perspective of the world, and he has changed. But at the same time, you still love him. But now you also go, who the hell is he? You know, people are complicated. And if we don't accept the fact that people are complicated, we have learned nothing about life.
I have a question for three.
Who?
Starting with Calumn. Let's talk about battle. So, what was your battle with the rap? I know you're a white guy, you don't have experience, but how was that battle in the movie? Can you be more deep about that?
Oh, sorry about going into the battle.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not quite understanding.
About the battle doing the rap in the movie.
And
Yeah, it was your challenge.
it was. Oh, I understand. Sorry. It was a huge challenge. Yeah, and the thing that was really interesting is there's a lot of similarities between rap and acting. It's, as Joseph said, it comes down to storytelling. And when you look at these battle rappers right now, really what they are is they're like poets. Like they're doing Shakespeare. They perform monologues for a living. And so when I was working with the rappers, what was really interesting is how they break down their rap is very similar to how you break down a scene as an actor. And it's also just like the way you say words can change the intent of your battle. And that's same goes as an actor as well. Thank you.
Same question. What is that challenge for you doing with this move in the rap?
The challenge was for me the dialogue, because I think that was the most important, of course, of the movie. You have to get your point across, and the deliverance, of how you say certain things, like how you were saying the cadence, and knowing how to, if I'm standing up, to get the crowd to know what I'm doing to bring them in with me. So to get comfortable in that situation, that was it was hard work, and at the end of the day, to have a great director, a great writer, and great battle rappers to help us out, it made the challenge kind of easier, and as an actor, you always want to take a challenge, don't never be afraid to take a challenge, unless it's just some crazy stuff they try to make you do, that's just okay, don't do that. But in this type of movie, like you say, a lot of actors didn't want to take this type of role. What I'm saying? As a black man, you see this type of role, you're like, oh, the white dude gonna beat me. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But I took that challenge. I took the challenge of wanting to deliver the words, deliver everything, just to, I didn't care about that. It's the art, your craft. And that was my whole thing.
And for Joseph, let me change a little bit the question. What was the biggest challenge to you make this great movie?
The biggest challenge, of the movie is the fact that its politics are not, they're not consumer friendly on any side of the fence. Whenever you watch movies, a lot of movies are parables, they're moral stories. But if you look at the morals of the movies, they're easy calls. Killing is bad, stealing is bad, racism is bad, sexism is bad. Like these are easy things to say, and everyone agrees with it. What does Bodied say? Bodied says it's okay to laugh at racist jokes sometimes. Bodied says it's okay to get in a room and shoot the shit and sometimes make a gay joke or make an Asian joke and stuff like that. Because in the reality, underneath all these stereotypes, the truth is we are human beings. We find stereotypes funny. We find the commonality of certain perceptions to be the reasons why you make jokes, What we're trying to find is the line. When does it not get funny? When does offense really get offensive? This is the exploration. And quite frankly, the movie doesn't answer it. The movie demonstrates and questions. The audience has to make that call. And that's a very dangerous place for any movie to be. Because if you don't give the audience the actual lesson, sometimes the audience gets mad and goes, I'm just angry. I didn't walk out of this with a smile on my face. I walked out of here having to think about questions. I don't want to pay $16 to do that. So that was the hard part of the movie, and I had to commit to it. And I was like, you know what? If I watered down the movie and gave you a lesson, it just would not be the movie.
Yeah, I wanted to ask both of y'all, Caleb,
Okay.
and Jackie. You talked about how it's kind of appropriate, time appropriate that the movie comes out now. And I think even more so with the battle raps, because when he goes in on your family, now you have Pusha T going in on Drake's child. And I can even go back to when I was first out of college when Ja Rule said something about Eminem's baby. When does, in y'all's opinion, as a fan of hip hop, when do battle raps go too far? What should be the limits on the
I
subject?
definitely think you should keep, family and kids out of it, for sure. And if you're gonna talk about somebody, just talk about what you know about them, but not that deep, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people like to get exposure because if they talk about it, they said something like what's his name, Pusha T, that brought up the Drake. Like that was a lot of exposure for him. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Drake shouldn't have been hiding his kid as well. You know what I'm saying? You if you having a kid with whoever type of girl, be a man and do that. But at the end of the day, I don't think you should definitely bring no family, kids, anybody, and it's like dead people, bring them back. Don't do none of that. I think it's just uncalled for. If you're gonna rap about somebody, just rap.
But in battle rap, that's just the rules.
Yeah, battle rap,
Yeah.
anything
I'm
goes.
in high school with Tupac coming over, hit him up, and I'm like, ooh, bro,
we got a guy.
that's a little too far.
I mean, we got Arsenal the Rebel standing next to Charlemagne the God. Arsenal, his entire act is nothing but he's the meanest battle rapper in the world. You'll see him in the trailer. He goes, "That's disrespectful." It's a funny line because he's like the most disrespectful battle rapper on the planet. And when you go against Arsenal, he's gonna go after your kid, your mom. She got cancer, whatever it is. Like it's
Like Loaded Lux, he comes out sometime, brings a casket, a whole thing, like he's coming to kill you, and it's just crazy. But I just say basically keep the family and all that personal stuff out, and
but the reality is in battle rap, it's a blood sport.
yeah, battle rap go in. You trying to win a sport, you trying to win, and like he said, anything goes. So kill a motherfucker.
My last question for you is: do you think it takes a certain type of a personality to just dive into battle rap, especially did you feel like it takes a kind of introvert person that's very shy just jump in because they had that push, that moment where they just were pushed and they can just go all in? Or do you think it takes a certain type of a person to test their fortitude to be able just to get up on that stage, and whether you win or lose?
Well, I think that what it takes is someone with thick skin, because you get insults basically as your job, and it's important that you're able to take them and be creative enough to then throw it back at them. And I think that's what it comes down to. It comes down to thick skin. If you have thick skin, you can do it. If you can't, you're just gonna cry after every battle.
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin, man. At the end of the day, I look at it, this is how I gotta eat. So I'm not gonna be afraid to I'm not gonna worry about what somebody else is saying, how I did or whatever. At the end of the day, I know I'm doing right with the other people around me, the directors, the producers, and anything. And at the end of the day, I'm taking a chance already doing something that people are gonna question me about. So at the end of the day, if I'm doing that, that's what I put myself up to. So like I've been saying, you can't be afraid, man. You can't be afraid.
Just to add on to that as well, like I think that as actors, it was also a risky movie to do as well. So I think that when the characters are feeling like they're putting it all on the line, in many ways, so is Jackie and I. Like I have a very young fan base, come from Disney Channel, and so for me doing this movie, it was a huge risk, and I felt like I was kind of putting it all out there and waiting to see how people respond. But I knew that we were making something special because I trusted this guy as a filmmaker.
No, you good.
My last question was, if you can, if it's not bad to say this, there was a cameo that I kept noticing in this movie. A cameo that I kept noticing in this movie. It was something that kept popping up over and over. What was up with the cat?
Yeah. So I never told anybody this before, but this is the honest truth. This is a low budget movie. We couldn't do too many retakes, so we had this cat that just kept showing up. So I would just roll the camera and I would say, "Fuck it, just keep the cat in."
I swear, I feel like it was like a metaphor for something. I was like, is somebody was a truth about to be revealed or something? It was nothing like that.
No, we're a low budget movie. We just had to keep it in.
I started bringing cat food to the set just to feed. It was so nice.
Oh, awesome. So, okay. So
Hey guys, can you help us to invite the audience to see the movie, please?
What'd you say?
Can you help us to invite the audience to see?
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead. Look, everybody right now with my boy Joseph Kahn and Calumn Worthy, we the stars of Body, and we want to make sure y'all make sure, if that sounded right,
Sounded
November,
great.
it sounded okay.
Yeah.
November 2nd, make sure y'all go get tickets, go see Body in a theater near you. And if you don't go to the theaters that day, make sure on November 28th, you can catch it and get it on YouTube Premium. Go see Body. If that was good.
That was great.
You were rapping.
Yeah.
No, we're not rapping, man. No
Do
rapping.
something, do something.
No
Very
rapping.
fast.
What?
No, we don't rap.
No rap yet. You gotta wait to see the movie because I don't want y'all to see some shit that I fuck up. Y'all gonna say I'm not going to see that
You
shit.
gotta pay for the raps. You gotta pay for
That's correct.
Thank you guys
so
though.
much. This is a really fun
I hope
conversation.
we answered all you guys' questions. Thank you so much.